Having issues. Having. And what's the next lesson after this? Geo. Is that correct? Days I want it. You guys are correct. Is Laura there in the lesson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. An algorithm has been written in pseudocode to input the weight of 50 items and reject any that are overweight or underweight and print the percentage rejected, overweight and underweight. So what's the first problem that we can see immediately there? Count should be what? We want to count, we can't count from, we count from what? Count should be set to 0. Clear. Can't set count to 1. Count should be set to 0. So that's a problem there. Immediate. Yeah? So what you simply do is you say both there are lines, you simply say this line is an error. But now there are no lines here. So you say error count assigned to 1. Correction count should be assigned to what? To 0. Do you agree?
Yes.
Reject set to 0 over set to 52 under set to 58. So what's the problem straight away then? Reject, we are setting to that. What we want is to count how many will be rejected. Do you agree or disagree? So count should be set to 0. We agree there. Reject is equal to, let's see what's happening. We'll come back to this here. Over and under should be 0, 0 also, because we don't have anything yet. Input an item, so a weight. If weight is over, is greater than over. Okay. Also, this is a number. You see this. This is the weight that they're considering as a limiter, which is fine, and this is the weight which is what's happening to my screen. So this is the weight for over, and this is the weight for under. So remember to reject things that are overweight or things that are underweight. So this is our value for overweight. We should not go above this. Clear? So if weight is above what? Over, and the weight is under, and the weight is less than under, it looks fine. That line here is correct. Then reject is equal to reject minus 1. Is this correct here? Reject is 0 here. So if you say 0 minus 1, that's minus 1. You want to, so the moment you do that, it means that item here should be rejected. So reject is equal to reject plus what? Plus 1. So that line there, reject, aside to reject minus 1 is wrong. We want reject being assigned to reject plus 1, so that each time we increment it plus 1. Clear? Everyone follow me? And if count is equal to count plus 1, and 2 count is less than or equal to 50, reject is equal to reject divided by 100. What do you need to count for reject? Percentage. Huh? So she did be reject divided by 100 if it's a percentage. How many items? 500. So whatever items, let's say we've got 30 rejects here. 30 rejects. If we've got 30 rejects here, we say 30 over what to get the percentage? 30 over the total items. So where is the 100 coming from? That's not correct, yeah? Clear? Because it's 500 items. So it means that line is wrong. Reject being set to reject divided by 100 should be reject. I don't know what's happening to my pen. I know. Reject. What's happening? My pen is writing in a funny way. Slow. I think maybe it's to do it now. Anyway, I'll sort it later. Reject. It should be set to reject divided by what? By 500. Do you agree? Or we disagree? Then the last one, we only want to count up to 500. Huh? Repeat until count is equal to count plus count is equal to count is equal to greater than or equal to 500. If we do that now, the 500 is going to increment by 1 year. So that's not correct here. So that's the other line. Count should be simply greater than 500. Clear? Those are the 4 lines, 4 errors. Describe how you change the algorithm to calculate the number accepted instead of rejected using accept variable and print a warning if fewer than 50% is what? If fewer than 50% are accepted. Now look at this here. Accept is okay. Yeah? So we don't need this. Huh? Do we agree? Everyone? We now need accept, which is set to what? To 0. Or I can use that arrow there. Then who can tell me what do we change on the if statement here? We now need to accept. Huh? So if we are accepting, we are accepting things, we are accepting, well, what are we accepting here? When weight is what? Is less than or equal to what? Less than or equal to 62. Do you agree? The end statement remains there. And your item weight, what do you change? Just think of what it's not a difficult question. Item weight has to be what? Less than or equal to 50 and greater than what? Greater than or equal to 58. I hope it's making sense because we want the range there. We are accepting the range 58 to 62, huh? Inclusive of this. Are we together there? Making sense? Lila? We are not yet done, huh? So we have sorted that out. Then this line is no longer that. Huh? is now accept is equal to accept plus 1 each time we accept something. Clear? Count is equal to count plus 1, then this one here we remove that. Then on this line here, we want accept being equal to accept divided by 500. Do you agree? Then there is the warning there of less than. So we say of less than, it means if accept is less than 50, print accept is less than 50, like what they said, then you simply say print less than 50% accepted. Clear? Clear, 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 clear. You get all your formats. Then number 3, I think that's where most of you started. Let's see what's happening. Start. Trade reject set to 0, count set to 1. Is count equal to 6? What? So we are setting trade reject to 0 and count to 1. Let's see. Trade reject, let's do that together. 0, count to 1. Do we all agree? Easy. Then what's the next thing? Is the decision. Is count equal to 6? It's a no, it's 1. Then input depth. What depth are we given? 1 point what? 1.7. Do we agree? Everyone is quiet. I hope you can see my whiteboard. Laura?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. K.
Depth is now 1.7 there. Now, is depth less than or equal to 1.6? It's 1.7. Is it less than? It's not less than, it's actually greater. Do you agree there? Because it's 1.7 there. So it's not greater. So it's a no. Then we go back here. Then what do we do? Count is equal to what? Count plus 1. Count is equal. So now count is now equal to what? To 2. Go back there. Then we go back to here. So count is 2 is not equal to that. So we input depth again. So what is the next depth? 1 point what? 1.9. Then after 1.9, is depth less than or equal to 1.6? That's a no. Then it goes to that. Count is equal to count plus 1. Also, that's an easy algorithm. Count is equal to count plus 1. So 3. Then it goes to this. Count is 3, so not yet at 6. Then it's called yes, input depth. What's the next depth? 1 point what? 1.4. Now if I go back there, depth 1.4. Is depth less than? Yes, it's 1.4, it's lesser. So it's yes here. Reject is equal to reject plus 1. So it rejects that depth here. So 0 plus 1 is what? Is 1. It rejects the depth, then increments the count. We now increment the count to 4. Then we take the next reading 1.8. So without looking, I know that I have to do it less than or equal to 1.6. So because this is greater than, do we agree? So if it's greater than, it's a no, because it's greater than the, do we agree? So we go to the next one, which is 5 here. Okay, then we go to the next, which is 2.0. So anyway, we know that 2.0 it's also not less than or equal to 6, it's greater than. So we increment count to what? To 6. Clear. Done. because now count is equal to 6. So let's see what we should output. When that happens, is count equal to 6 years. So is count equal to 6 years now? Is reject less than or equal to 1? It's what? It's a yes, huh? Because it's 1, huh? So the car is potentially what? Roadworthy, huh? The car is potentially, is that what you found? The car is potentially roadworthy. Those brackets simply means you are printing what's in the quarter. Is potentially roadworthy. Clear? Making sense?
Yes, sir.
Marks for free, yeah? The marks for free? I think so. So the next one I can actually do it without. Anyway, I know that I'm supposed to set this to 0 and set this to 1. And input depth, they might do it in a different way. I think in the exam, instead of writing here, they wrote it here in the next line, and for whatsoever reasons, I don't know. Anyway, but normally I do, but they'll still give you all the marks. So anyway, 1.2 here. 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. So 1.2 is less than what? We know that 1.2 is less than 1.6. Huh? So we increment reject to what? To 1. Huh? Clear? Then we increment count. Count is simply counting how many times you're doing. Then the next one is 1 point what? 1.9. Yeah? So 1.9 is greater than 1.6. Huh? So we can't reject here. Okay, so we simply, this becomes 3. And the next one is 1.4. 1.4, so we increment count a rejection here, we reject it. So now then this is now 4. Then the next one is 1.8, which is above 1.6. So nothing happens there. 5. Then the next one is 2.4. Again is above what? Is above 6. Huh? So this was 5. And this is 6. Clear? Happy? Then according to some doing according to what they want in. So we now go to the option of printing. Let's see what we print. Is that equal to sorry. Is depth, wait a minute. Is count equal to 6? Yes, okay, there. Is it equal to, so it's a no, yeah, but it's 2. So the car is not what? Roadworthy. Do you agree? The car is not roadworthy. That's what you print here. The car is not roadworthy. Then you get all your free marks. Huh? Are you happy? Number 4, range check validation. Everyone now knows double entry verification. Check digit validation, presence digit validation. Clear? Identify and describe 3 loop structures that are available in pseudocode. So you can have a repeat until. It's a repeat until everyone. Repeat until. Clear? You can write that condition is tested at the end. Condition tested at the end of the loop. Clear? The loop. You continue repeating until a condition is met. Clear? Then we have a while what? While do loop. the opposite of this. I love these loops here. While do loop. So condition, you test it what? At the beginning, huh? So may not be executed, may not be executed until condition is met at the beginning. Clear? Until condition is met at the beginning. Are we together? Making sense? You see the difference? Wow, something condition has to be met first. Then we can have a 4, 4, 2, or 4 next. Loop there. So this one, a for loop has got a fixed number of repetitions. Huh? Fixed number of repetitions. Clear? Fixed numbers of repetitions. For counting range, remember for counting range, 10. We are doing it 10 times. Huh? Clear? Fixed number of repetitions. Now, then some people left this blank line. Write an algorithm. We have learned many algorithms to input what? They're not saying an algorithm, huh? In pseudocode English. To input 3 different numbers, multiply the 2 large numbers, and output the result. Use the variables num1, num3. How can you leave this blank? So what do you need to enter, everyone? To enter the 3 numbers, num1, num2. So what did I say? I simply use the English word input. It's not. I'm not writing a code here. It's pseudocode English, like input num what? Number 1. They penalize you if you don't do that. Number what? 2 and number 3. That's as easy as that, huh? Well, you're not supposed to leave it this blank here. Input num1, num2, num3. Huh? We're done. What's the next thing? Multiply the 2 large numbers. So, Lila, haven't we done? When we have 3 numbers, we didn't do that together. We need an if what, everyone? If statement. Huh? Because we need a large number, the two large numbers together. We need the largest and the second largest. So now you're saying using an if num1 or number 1, we have to write it in full, is greater than, Lila. Why did you leave it blank? I don't understand. If number 1 is greater than number 2, and what? Number 3 is greater than number 3, yeah? Like this, it means this one is the largest, yeah? Clear? Then the largest is equal to num1. Clear? Because we need that to be able to determine. Second largest is this. That's what it means. Second or maybe I'll use a variable like this. I'll do sec large in second largest. You're allowed to give as long as it makes sense. Is equal to now 3. Sorry, 2, sorry. Because the first one is larger, then the second one is larger than that. The third one. Do we agree there? Making sense?
Yeah.
First part. Else if Lila, for 3 numbers. So else if num1, I have to, anyway, I'm now doing shortcuts here, but I'm not supposed to write it in full. Num1 here is greater than num is greater than num3 and num3. I hope Lila is making sense what I'm trying to do here. Num3 is greater than num what? We've done this before. So let's say I have numbers 7, I have numbers 10, 7, 3. And this is my N1 position, N2, N3. Yeah? I can swap all these numbers. So I can have a condition where 10 is the largest, followed by 7, followed by 3. That's the first condition. You can test using numbers to see that. Then I can remember 10, I said 10, 3. Then I can have 10, 3, 7. That's this condition here. Clear? Can everyone see that that's the condition that we're doing? Then it means largest is equal to num what? Still num1. Yeah? But now second largest is what? Is the third number. So sec, we used sec large, we have to be consistent now. If we use sec large, it has to be sec large here. Is equal to num what? Can write that example as we're writing number 3 there. Are we together then? So we are done where the first number is the largest. Huh? Now let's look at this scenario and else, so else if here, or LF. Now let's do another else if. What's the other else if condition is when we have the second number as the largest. Huh? So you can have 10, 7, 3. We can have 10, 3, 7. Those are the things that we want to what? To test. Clear? So else if here. Who can tell me the correct thing here? Remember, this is N1, num1, num2, num3. So what should I write, Brandon? We've done that before. If number 2 is greater than what, Brandon? Not difficult. If number 2 is greater than number what? Number 1. Do we agree? And number 1 is greater than what? Number 3, yeah? Lila, you see how easy that is? Number 1 is greater than number 3. What do we do there? So largest is equal to what? Number 2. Huh? Then your second large, which you want to multiply according to them, is equal to number what? Number 1. Yeah? Then another else if. Now the scenario is this part here. So we want number 2 larger than number 3 and number 3 larger than number what? Number 1. Yeah? Clear? It means largest equal to number 2 and sec largest is equal to number 3. Yeah? Then the last condition, we have another else if. Hope it's making sense now. Playing around with the numbers, we want weight, so we want maybe 7, 3, 10, or lastly the default will be 10, 7, 3. Yeah? Clear? So we now say else if num if num3 is greater than num1 and now number, but I have to write in 4, number 1 is greater than, I don't have space here, num3. Yeah? Saying yes, number 1. So greater than num2. Yeah. So it means largest is equal to num3, second largest is equal to, what will be the second largest number? number 1, yeah. Then the default, the last option is this. You simply write an else. You don't write an else if else. So it means largest is equal to number 3. So that's the last option. Sec largest is equal to number 2. Clear? Then the last part of the question, it says, now what do you need to do? We multiply the what? Them. So I'll call that a result. Result is simply equal to largest multiplied by what? By sec largest. That making sense? Not difficult, huh? Then print what? Print the result. Done. That's not difficult. Are you together? Lila? You're not supposed to leave this blank in an exam because it's simple English, huh? Clear then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Simple English. Yeah. They are not. They will never ask you to write in actual code. Clear? Because they know they ask you for a pseudocode. Huh? This is simple English. Yeah. Now look at this here. Give sets of test data to use for your algorithm and explain the choice of each. Yeah? Hold on. Hi. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Okay. Yeah, not only science, maybe jack of all trades. Because anyway, I've got a school, an online school, yes, an online school and a physical school, yeah. It's in Grindel. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. As him say. Also, you're not sure with the. Oh, okay. Also, she wants to do science at Form 5. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Okay, that's fine. Yes, what's Shandiga? I think we like when are the results out now? You don't know. Okay. So are you on WhatsApp? If you can send me your WhatsApp number. I'm in a lesson right now, but if you can send me your WhatsApp, it's okay. Your WhatsApp number, then we pick it from there. Since I think now we have to wait for the results, then maybe we talk now over. Now maybe either Cambridge or I get a Cambridge. What were the A subjects? So she wants to do maths, bio, and what? So she wants to do bioenergy. Commerce. Combination is bio, computer science, and chemistry. No, that's fine. Bio, computer science, and chemistry. Chem. But physics now the challenge is more mathematical. Mm. Mm. Yeah, bio, computer science. Yeah, all sciences. But A level, chemist, MPC. But now I'm listen, anyway, it's 200 a month, so 600 years a term. Yeah. It excludes practicals. I think practical is not, it's not that much, because I think it's plus or minus, but it's like less than 100. It's not much. Why I'm saying so is we outsource, maybe, like I'm saying, both say it's a school in Greendale. I think it's a nice multiracial small school, but we outsource experience. On Queen Elizabeth. Yes, close to Kampiza. But they have an option, because we are continuing, because for us we are advanced in terms of online. We are actually continuing with the online and continuing with the physical school. Yeah. Online it will be less. It will be less by 100, because of course the physical, yeah, you've got running issues. I mean, running costs and paying caretakers and this and 500. No, I'm saying yes, yeah. I'm saying 5. No, 100 less. Oh yeah, just send the WhatsApp address. Okay. Okay, so okay, sorry guys, sorry about that. Now, test data. When we are testing data, what do we test? We test abnormal data, you know data. So even the numbers that I picked here, 10, 7, 3, you can actually test them. Clear? That making sense? Or not making sense? Are you guys still there?
Yes, sir.
Or you switched off? And I went busy for, sorry about that, someone had called to attend. So we're saying give two sets of test data which you can use for your algorithm and explain your choice. So I gave you, so it's both you have to test the numbers and how it will work. And I said here, you can test the actual numbers that can work, maybe 10, 15, 12, like clear. So this will work, because it identified that this is the second largest. Then it will multiply this by that. So this is your normal data. What will be abnormal data here? We are dealing with the numbers. If I pick A, B, C, won't that give me an error? It will give me an error, but these are not what? Numbers. So this is abnormal data. Clear? So it will give you what? Errors. Very clear, Mr. Kuda?
Yes.
Or not clear? Now, number 3. What are the 3? Anyway, which paper is this? Some question here. Does it have the database section? Just hold. No. Oh, the same year. Just need to check something. Looks like the same year. Oh, is that so? Interesting. It's the same question paper. Anyway, let's go back. So now, what's the correct thing here? Procedure, function, subroutine. So library routine, what's the correct one there? Tandy library routine. Brandon has been quiet. Are you in the lesson?
Yes, sir.
So subroutine, which one do you think Brandon is subroutine here? Which is the correct one on this side? Kuda, what do you think? Sub library routine, sorry.
Is it
Because
standard
Standard word. Standard.
subroutine that
Yeah, that is.
changes?
Structure diagram, we've talked about it before. An overview of a program. A procedure,
the sub routine that does not have a value, doesn't know return a value.
a function always returns a value. Clear. and you get 3 free marks. Now a programmer wants to test that the readings from 2000 electric meters are greater than 400 units and less than 900 units. The program uses selection and repetition statements as part of the program. Explain using program statements how selection and repetition. Okay, how selection. So selection and repetition. So selection is easier. You want to read, so you're saying if is to do with selection. If readings, because you're picking from, you're selecting from readings. If reading is greater than what? 400 and readings clear less than what? 900. Then you perform whatever needs to be performed. Clear? That making sense? A selection statement, you check values. So it's use of the if statement, 1 mark for that. Then doing this 1 mark. Clear? Then repetition, you are using the for loop. Clear? So you are using the for meter reading, whatever. Yeah. From 1 to what? For all the meter readings, 1 to 2000. Clear? Then next you do something. Clear? Are we together then? Make sense?
Yes.
Number 5. Oh, didn't we do this chlorine thing before? Confirm we have done it before. Too deep water. Haven't we done it together? We have done it before. Laura? I'm sure we have done this before. Yeah. Anyway.
No, sir.
Yeah, we have done it before. Why are you saying no? You're saying no. Okay, set to true here. We've done this before. Anyway, full okay to use. But anyhow, I'll quickly jump to this here. So now we have input height, whatever. Now okay is set to true. Is depth divided by 2? Is depth greater than height divided by 2? Is depth greater than height divided by 2? Now if you divide height divided by 2 here, you get 3. Yeah? What is our depth here? 2.5. Huh? So we are saying is depth, which is 2.5, greater than height divided by 2. I think that's a no here, if I'm correct. Is depth less than, remember depth is 2.5, less than height divided by 3. Height divided by 3 is what? Height divided by 3 is 2, correct. Is depth, which is 2.5, less than, what did I say? Okay. I'm doing 2 shortcuts here. Anyway, let me do this here. Let me have my values this side. Height, depth. Let's do that properly together. 26. So we have 6, 2.5, and what? And 2. Huh? So let's go to this here. Is depth is 2.5, greater than, greater than what? Height divided by 2. What is height divided by 2? Height divided by 2 is 3. So is this depth here greater than that? Is it a yes or a no?
No.
It's a no. Is depth less than? Okay, it's a less than. Is depth less than height divided by we divide the height divided by 3, we get 2. Huh? So is it less? Is depth?
Yes.
Huh? Is it a yes or a
Yes.
no? It's a yes. Is depth less than, what is our depth? 2.5. Is 2.5 less than height divided by, what is height here? Isn't the height 2 here? Why are you saying yes? Depth remains 2.5. But we are saying, is it less than height divided by, height divided 6 divided by 3, which gives you 2 here. So 2.5 is not less than 2. Huh? So I'm not sure why you're saying yes. So it's a no here. Clear? Is chlorine greater than 3? What is our chlorine here? Is 2. Huh? So it's a no. Okay. See why we picked okay? Is okay equal to true? Yes. So poo is okay to use. Does that make sense? That's why we had that. Making sense now? Let's go to the next one. 4, 3, 1.5. Then okay is always set to true first. Now let's go back to there. So I'm going to use those values together here. Follow me? Very easy. So height, depth, chlorine. Now our values 4, 3, 1.5. Now, the first part here, my depth is 3. Then height divided by 2. What is height divided by 2? 4 divided by 2 is what? Is 2. So is depth greater than, is 3 greater than 2? Yes.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Water is what? Too deep. As easy as that. Do you have an exam here with Mr. M? This afternoon? Do you have an exam with Mr. M this afternoon? You guys are quiet.
No, sir.
Okay. So 6 here, 3.5, 4 here. So, oh, I've got a geo lesson. Now, is height, is depth is what? 3.5, huh? Greater than height divided by 2. What is height divided by 2 here? It's 6 divided by 2. What do you get?
Mm.
Is that a 3? Or I'm lying here? It's true, huh? Yes. So water is too deep. Okay, we didn't do this. Okay, fine. So water is too deep here. Okay. So water is too deep. Not only that, we have to do something. We have to follow the arrows. Huh? I didn't follow. I was supposed to follow the arrows on the previous. Now follow the arrows. When water is too deep, what happens? You go to this. Huh? Okay is set to what? To false. Huh? So we set okay to false. Then what else? Besides setting okay to false, we go back there to check something about chlorine. Water to false. Okay. Is chlorine greater than what? 3. Is chlorine greater than 3? Chlorine is 4. Huh? So it's a yes. Do we agree? Is chlorine greater than, it's a yes? Huh? So what if chlorine is too much what? Too much chlorine, add more water. Too much chlorine, add two more, or too much chlorine, add more H2O. Of course, right? Add more water, clear? Oh, sorry, supposed to be written here. Too much chlorine, add more water. Then what else after that? Too much chlorine, add more water. Follow my arrow. Oh, then it's at the end. Can you see that? Making sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, sometimes they'll ask you for the purpose, which you are supposed to identify from what you've been doing there. Yeah, there, 1 mark. Identify the problem with the algorithm. Okay, the flowchart that represents. So if you were to do that quickly, you find that it cannot add more water if the water is too deep. Then there's also no validation for negative values. Clear? The other problem is it tells you to add chlorine. It tells you to add chlorine when there is no water. Clear? But it's simply 1 mark. Are we together? It's time for geo. We continue from this here. This is not our last lesson. We have a lesson on Friday, so we continue from page 40 here. So just remind me that we're starting from page. Can I write it down now? Page 40. Our revision. Clear? On Friday. Okay. See you next time.
Thank you, sir.